Political power in Congress is based around population. Bigger states, like California and Texas, are rewarded with more seats than smaller states, like Rhode Island and Delaware. Since our population is constantly changing, people move, have babies, die, the Constitution requires that a census be held every 10 years to count the people of each state. Census numbers are used in the process of reapportionment to determine how many of the 435 congressional seats each state gets. As states grow in population, they get more seats, and they take those seats from states that have grown less quickly. After each reapportionment, every state must alter the boundaries of their congressional districts to account for these changes. This is called redistricting. The United States is the only advanced democracy in the world where politicians directly participate in the districting process. Why does this matter? You live in a district. Many districts, actually. Congressional, state senate, assembly, city council, school. Everyone in America lives in districts. All districts are bounded by lines. The way district lines are drawn can determine who represents you for decades at a time.
We all know we've got a problem in this country. 19% of voters as a whole approve of the job that Congress is doing, yet 90% of them get reelected year after year after year.
That problem is gerrymandering. It lets elected politicians redraw district maps on the basis of who votes for them and essentially determine the outcome of elections. This November, California voters, like thousands in other states, decide who really should be drawing those maps.
Reformers basically have a fairly modest agenda, and that is simply to take the politicians out of the process.
Like the reformers, Bill Mundell and Jeff Reichert think allowing politicians to handpick their constituents is absurd. Their documentary, Gerrymandering, makes their case.
If you put a bunch of toddlers in a room with cookie jars everywhere and said, okay, toddlers, I'm going to leave you alone, but don't touch the cookie jars, they're going to touch the cookie jars.
The United States is the only advanced democracy in the world where politicians directly participate in the districting process.
Professor Frank Gilliam is the dean of UCLA's School of Public Affairs. He spent years teaching about the fierce debate over redistricting reform.
It's plain and simple. The politicians draw the lines to advantage themselves. There's absolutely, positively no doubt about that.
Props 20 and 27 in California take the debate to the voters.
Proposition 20 extends the good reforms that were passed in 2008 of Proposition 11 to congressional districts. Proposition 27 would seek to roll back even Proposition 11, get rid of the independent commission before it's actually seated.
This is almost redistricting in 3D.
What has historically been an art form, a bunch of horse trading amongst members of the state legislature, has turned, because of the use of technology, into an exact science.
Guess they never heard of no taxation without representation.
Legislators claim that they know the districts best. Their argument is, look, some pointy-head academics in an office modeling somewhere can't possibly understand that these people are not just numbers, they're not just widgets, right? These are real people with real concerns, and I know what those real concerns are.
It's an argument Gilliam calls legitimate in theory, but absent in practice.
If we saw fairer redistricting, we might buy it, but the altruism seems to be missing.
Corrine Winter, CNN, Hollywood.